We are starting with Manchester United and their pulling power. Reports again linking Ronaldo to Chelsea. De Jong, I think it's close, but I'm not quite sure if it's done yet. I'll come to you first, Crookie. Talk to me about Manchester United and their pulling power. Can they still attract the very best players, or are they playing second fiddle at the minute?
Well, you have to say they're playing second fiddle, because they would have loved to have signed Erling Haaland. He only had eyes for Manchester City in this country. They'd have loved to have signed Darwin Núñez, but as soon as Liverpool appeared on the radar, there was only one place for him. I think they would have liked to have signed Calvin Phillips, and I think they did inquire about him, but we know that he's Manchester City bound.
And he was never going to go to United, was he, from Leeds?
Yeah, because of the rivalry, but also if it comes down to a shootout between City and United, at the moment, City win. So in answer to your question, I think their pulling power is waning. You look at how painful it's been to try and get signings through the door. It's still early in the transfer window. I should stress that. It's the 26th of June. Season doesn't start for another 5 weeks. The players are back at training tomorrow. Some have been there, I think, doing medical tests at Carrington today. The window is open until September the 1st. They will sign players, but the fact that Christian Eriksen is deliberating whether he should stay at Brentford or go to Manchester United, I think shows you how far they've fallen. I think if United were a Champions League club, that wouldn't be a decision that Eriksen would need to spend so much time over. Frankie de Jong, as I understand it, has had to be persuaded to follow Erik Ten Hag. So it's a difficult situation, and I think the days of people signing for Manchester United just because they're Manchester United have gone. I think they need to be sold the project.
Do you know what you said about Eriksen there? But I think in that case, that might not just be necessarily what's going on the pitch. I mean, I think he's obviously got his health to take into account, where his family is settled now. Does he want to uproot and move again? So I think there's more factors than just the playing situation with Christian Eriksen going to Manchester United. But what do you think, Darren? Do you think they could?
I agree with you.
Well, why am I calling Darren? Daz, Karen.
It's respect, Darren, isn't it?
Sir, Karen.
I agree with you. I think, and I was going to say it as well to Crookie, I think there's different aspects. If it was anyone else, you'd obviously question it. You'd think, why have you not picked Manchester United over Brentford? But Brentford gave him the chance, gave him the opportunity when obviously the under the circumstances. We're led to believe that his wife is very settled in London, and that does come into it when your family's settled somewhere. It won't surprise me if there's other clubs as well, by the way, in the background.
I think Newcastle have been lurking.
Maybe a West Ham, teams like that in and around London, knowing that they want to stay in London, to try and get a package together to tempt him away from, if it is going to be Manchester United. I think with Frankie de Jong, I think it's taken too long for me. You either want to join Manchester United or you don't.
Yeah,
I'm
with you.
Yeah, a few weeks ago he done the press conference. Look, I know he was a Barcelona player at the time, so he has to obviously stick up for his own club.
It was quite strong though, wasn't it?
It was very strong on he's no interest really. He's currently at the biggest club in the world. Why would he want to leave? Basically, that's what I got out of the interview. But, now it looks like it's over the line. I think Ten Hag initially is impressed in terms of his press conference. I thought it was very straight. It was seemed like he wanted who he wanted in terms of who he's worked with before. But there comes a point when you don't give up on players, but the players either want to play for Manchester United or they don't. Frankie de Jong, if that gets over the line, with Van der Beek potentially coming back, could be a good partnership potentially forming there. And with Pogba obviously going another direction, they need centre midfielders, and linked with Lisandro Martinez as well. I'm led to believe. We'll obviously hear more of you, I guess, Crookie, but is that enough? The defence needs sorting.
Yeah, I think there's loads of different aspects to United's team that they need to address, but as you said there, I think it is important that they get rid of a few players first. You've got the likes of Pogba out the way, which
easier said than done, though. I mean,
that's my point. So I know a lot of people have said just get rid of more and get some new players in. It doesn't work like that. And even with Frankie de Jong, my only reservation is that because he's a top player is when you've got players that need convincing to go to a football club. I always think, is their heart really in it? Do they truly want to be at this football club? Because he speaks about Barcelona, how much he loves being there. It's the biggest club in the world. That tells me he doesn't want to leave there. But the fact that now they need to convince him to go to United, I almost think to myself, well, is he 100% sold on going to United? I don't think he is.
No, I'd have to agree with you with those comments, but I think that's where Manchester United are at. Erik Ten Hag, I think, is already realising how big a rebuild job he has on his hands. I'm sure he knew that when he accepted the challenge. The club has been so badly run for a long time now. I think Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill, between them, papered over an awful lot of cracks. Those cracks have been fully exposed since that duo left. We've had Jose Mourinho come in. Whatever you say about Jose Mourinho, he is one of the best managers in the world over the last 10, 15 years. He couldn't solve the problem. Louis van Gaal is a top coach. He couldn't solve the problem.
Didn't he win 2 trophies? Sorry, Mourinho. Didn't he?
Yeah, he won the Europa League and the League Cup.
Yeah,
and took them back into the Champions League. As a result of that, they went for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, one of their own, but he didn't solve the problem. Mourinho solved it short term, but he couldn't do it long term. So I think it's one of the most difficult jobs in world football, particularly when it comes to the recruitment side. But they are working hard, and I do think the current board, now that Ed Woodward has been removed of his position, I think they're trying to run the club the right way, and that hasn't necessarily been the case in recent seasons. All
right, and Daz, a question for you. 2 questions, actually. First one, can you see Ronaldo, there are reports linking Ronaldo to Chelsea, can you see that potentially happening? And also, do you think it's a good thing for all concerned that Pogba did leave Manchester United? And do you think there was ever a part of him that thought, no, I want to stay and show everyone that I can succeed in the Premier League?
I mean, on the Pogba, I think, it's best that he moves on.
Yeah.
I think for Manchester United and for him personally, it looks like he hasn't enjoyed it for the last couple of years. Everything, however bad Man United are, it always points down to Pogba a lot of the time. Pundits, obviously the journalists, supporters blame Pogba a lot of the time, and whenever we get on the subject, we see the messages, the tweets come in, and not defending Pogba by any means. But with Ronaldo, I can't see him going to Chelsea. I really can't.
But I can't see it. But the only thing I can't see either is him playing in the Europa League.
No, that's the only issue, and the problem with not getting the business done early, and you said obviously that it's still got time to sign players, but not getting it done early, it does start getting players, whether it's Ronaldo, whether it's his agent, or whether it's just the rumour mill. That doesn't help Manchester United as well, when he was clearly the best player last season, and it's now, unless you fall to my demands and sign players I want you to sign, I'm going to look to leave. And none of it seems to be helping the cause of Manchester United. I can't see him going to Chelsea. However, we know what clubs are like. They can put high bids in with a year left, 37 years old, just to tempt it. You never know.
I think you have to look at the source of where this story has come from, and I believe it to be true, by the way. Todd Bowley has met with George Mendes, agent of Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo's name has come into the conversation in terms of Chelsea being a potential destination, but the reason that's got out into the media is because George Mendes wanted it in the media. It suits him to put a bit of pressure on Manchester United, maybe because Ronaldo is frustrated. I'm sure that is the case. He wants to see some ambition in the transfer market, but also because George Mendes will have players that he's trying to push on Manchester United. And if nothing else, United and the hierarchy are going to pick up the phone this morning and say to George Mendes, what's this all about? Opens the lines of communication. While we're on the phone, what about X player? So I'm not worried about Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Manchester United. I think the club are quite relaxed about it as well. They see it almost as a non-story. I think Ronaldo will stay, but I think he wants to see United showing some ambition, and nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Do you think we could necessarily at Chelsea see a front three of Sterling, Neymar and Ronaldo?
Can you imagine that? I mean, I can't see it happening. It would have to be a hell of a bid, really, and like a price tag to one, tempt him away, and 2, tempt Manchester United to sell to a rival. I can't see it happening, but as you rightly said, Ronaldo's gone places, and everywhere he's gone he's won trophies, or at least competed at the very top. And to finish 6th in the league and then not sign early or not look to be ambitious, but there's still plenty of time, and I've no doubt that Manchester United will make signings, will make good signings as well. Will that be enough to keep him? Who knows?